You know, every once in a while something drops in the RV world that just makes you stop and say, wow, they actually did it. And that's exactly what's happening with the upcoming 2026 Brabus RV motorhome. I've been following Brabus for years, and while they've always been solid, this new one feels like a turning point. Not just an update, but a real leap forward. If you've ever dreamed about hitting the open road with all the comforts of home while also being able to handle rugged off-road adventures, this might just be the rig you've been waiting for. First thing that grabbed me was the design. Brabus has always had that clean, functional look, but the 2026 model has a new confidence to it. The exterior lines are sharper, more aerodynamic, almost like they borrowed a little inspiration from modern SUVs. The stance looks taller and tougher, and they've added subtle detailing that makes it look every bit the part of a premium adventure machine. It still screams RV, but with a sense of style that'll turn heads whether you're parked at a campground or pulling into a small mountain town. And yes, it's hybrid. That's right, Brabus is bringing a hybrid engine into the mix, and I've got to say, this is the feature that excites me the most. Think about it. A motorhome that can give you the torque and power you need to climb mountain passes, but also sip fuel more efficiently when you're cruising down the highway. Plus, the electric side means quieter running when you need it, like pulling into a campsite late at night or maneuvering through a quiet neighborhood. I'm not saying you'll be running silent like a golf cart, but it's noticeably smoother and less noisy than the traditional diesels we've all gotten used to. For those of us who love both long-distance road trips and tucked-away off-grid adventures, that balance of power and efficiency is huge. Speaking of off-road, Brabus really leaned into that side of things this year. The 2026 comes with an upgraded suspension system designed for rougher terrain. Ground clearance is improved, the tires are more aggressive, and the underbody protection looks solid. Now, let's be real, this isn't some Jeep you're going to rock crawl with, but compared to past models, this rig looks way more confident on dirt roads, forest trails, and desert washes. If you've ever been hesitant to take your RV past the pavement, this could be the model that makes you finally say yes to those remote campsites you've been eyeing on Google Earth. Now let's step inside, because oh man, they really did something special with the interior. I remember the older Brabus interiors being comfortable but kind of safe, you know. Nice, but not memorable. The 2026 feels like walking into a modern tiny home. The space feels brighter, more open, with huge windows that bring the outdoors in. The finishes are upgraded, and the layout is smart, really making use of every inch. The kitchen area has been redesigned to feel less cramped, with a proper cooking surface and plenty of storage. The seating feels more lounge-like than upright, and yes, the beds are actually comfortable this time. I know that sounds like a small thing, but if you've ever tried to sleep on some of the stiff RV mattresses of the past, you know why this is worth celebrating. Technology-wise, it's clear they've listened to what travelers want. The 2026 model is loaded with updated control systems, so managing your power, water, and climate doesn't feel like fiddling with old switches anymore. It's more intuitive, with easy touchscreen controls and even a mobile app integration that lets you monitor things from your phone. Solar integration is smoother than before, and there's a stronger focus on keeping everything efficient. It feels like they really designed this for people who want to spend more time off-grid without constantly worrying about running out of juice. And here's something I love, the balance between modern upgrades and keeping it simple. Sometimes RVs go so tech-heavy they feel intimidating, but Brabus has struck a nice middle ground here. You still feel in control, but with conveniences that make life easier. Of course, we have to talk about price, because that's always the question. From what's been announced so far, the 2026 Brabus is going to come in higher than the previous model, but not by as much as I expected. Considering the hybrid system, the off-road package, and the redesigned interior, I think they've managed to keep it relatively competitive. You're not going to find this in the budget RV section, but for what you're getting, it feels fair. And honestly, if you're someone who's been thinking about upgrading in the next couple of years, this might be the sweet spot before prices really start climbing. Now, let's stack this up against past Brabus models. The earlier versions were reliable but didn't always stand out in terms of personality. The 2020s were fine, functional, but maybe a little behind the curve on design. The 2023 gave us some great upgrades in interior layout and drivability, but it was still running on a traditional engine and didn't quite lean into the off-road adventure lifestyle. The 2026 changes that story. It feels like the culmination of everything they've been experimenting with over the last decade. If the old models were dependable travel companions, this one feels like a partner in adventure. So, what does all this mean if you're in the market for a new RV? To me, the 2026 Brabus represents a shift. It's not just about getting from point A to point B in comfort, it's about giving you the freedom to explore more places, stay out longer, and do it with a lighter footprint. That hybrid engine means fewer stops at the pump. The off-road package means you're not limited to paved campgrounds. The interior means you'll actually look forward to spending rainy days inside. It's about building a lifestyle, not just a vehicle. And as someone who's spent countless nights on the road, I can tell you those little improvements add up. The quiet hum of the hybrid instead of a roaring diesel when you're pulling into a lakeside spot at sunset.